In this video, you will learn to evaluate algebraic expressions. Now first we need to define what is an algebraic expression. So what it is a mathematical expression containing numbers, variables, and operational signs. Here are three examples. First one, we have 5 plus x. So we have number, the variable would be the letter, so the letter x is a variable. And the operational sign would be addition, the plus sign. Second example, we have 4n minus 3 over 8 times m. So we have numbers, we have two different variables, we have subtraction, we have division, multiplication. So this would also be an algebraic expression. And over here we have negative a plus 4b over c squared. This would also be an algebraic expression. So if you are told to evaluate an algebraic expression, what that means is that you are substituting or replacing the variable with a given number and then calculating the answer. So for example, if you are told to evaluate y minus 7 when y equals 5, what I'm doing is I'm replacing this y with a 5. So instead of y minus 7, we now have 5 minus 7. And then 5 minus 7 would equal negative 2. Here are a few more examples. You are told to evaluate x plus 4 when x equals 15. So instead of x plus 4, we now have 15 plus 4, which would equal 19. Next we have 2x minus 7. Evaluate when x equals negative 4. So remember, if the 2 is next to the variable, so 2x, what that means is that you are multiplying 2 times x. So instead of 2 times x minus 7, we now have 2 times negative 4 minus 7. So 2 times negative 4 would be negative 8. So we have negative 8 minus 7, which would equal negative 15. Next we have negative 3 minus 3a, and you are told to evaluate when a equals negative 1. So instead of negative 3 minus 3 times a, we have negative 3 minus 3 times negative 1. I replace the a with the negative 1. So make sure you follow order of operations. We need to multiply first. So we have a negative 3, so negative 3 times a negative 1. So negative 3 times a negative 1 would be a positive 3. So I have negative 3 plus 3, which would equal 0. Here are a few more examples. You are to evaluate 3 minus 2 times parentheses b minus 4 when b is equal to 5. So what I do is I replace this b with a 5. So in parentheses, instead of b minus 4, I now have 5 minus 4. Make sure that you follow the order of operations. So you begin with parentheses first, and then you can multiply after and then subtract after that. So parentheses, you have 5 minus 4, which would equal 1. So I have 3 minus 2 times 1. All right, 2 times 1 is 2. So I have 3 minus 2, which would equal 1. So my solution would equal 1. Next, we have 4x over 3 minus 2y times parentheses 3 plus x. And you are to evaluate when x is 6 and y is negative 3. So here we have more than one variable, but we do the exact same thing, where in place of the x, I can put a 6, and in place of y, I put a negative 3. So when I do that, instead of 4 times x, we have 4 times 6. Instead of negative 2 times y, I have negative 2 times negative 3, because y is negative 3. And instead of 3 plus x, I have 3 plus 6, because x is 6. So now I need to make sure that I follow the order of operations. So I begin with parentheses first. So 3 plus 6 would give me 9. And then after parentheses, I can do exponents, which I do not have any. So then I proceed on to multiplication and division. So if I multiply, I have 4 times a 6. That would give me 24. So this is 24. And then here we have negative 2 times a negative 3 is a positive 6. Positive 6 times a positive 9 would be a positive 54. So I have 24 over 3 plus 54. And then I can divide 24 divided by 3, that gives me 8. And then I can add 8 plus 54 to get 62.